So a rich doctor got involved in a crash in New York City, and he also ended up crushing the leg of a firefighter that was trying to actually save him and his kid, I believe. So let's actually check out this video. So you see the firefighter reaching into the car, basically trying to get the people out of the car. They're even trying to prop up the vehicle to make sure that it doesn't fall. But then the doctor ends up hitting the gas, and I'm kind of laughing because it's just so stupid, right? And ends up crushing the leg of the firefighter. Now, luckily, the firefighter survived this whole ordeal, and nothing really bad happened to him. But this is so beyond stupid on the doctor's behalf, right? It's just so stupid. So this doctor has a poor record of operating motor vehicles. The driver of the BMW that crashed atop a Volvo SUV in Midtown and crushed the leg of an FDNY firefighter who came to the rescue is a Brooklyn kidney doctor, and apparently a long-time scufflaw with 9 speeding and red light camera violations, records show. And really, just from the get-go, this kind of like this kind of expresses that we have a doctor that is older up there in age who has probably made a lot of money, makes a lot of money, and kind of thinks that laws don't really matter to him. Okay? Because for you to constantly breaking traffic laws and you are constantly basically not facing repercussions for that is insane, right? That just goes to show that you believe that you are above the law because you're a doctor, because you make so much money. It's so disturbing to see. So Dr. Neil Mittman, 69, slammed his new 61,000 BMW X5 into the Volvo, landing on that car's roof, according to authorities, witnesses, and photos. Which, by the way, how fast do you have to be going to literally land on top of a car when you're in an SUV? How fast do you gotta be going? One of the emergency responders, firefighter Ryan Warnock, was helping remove Mittman and his son, Zachary, 28, who were trapped inside the BMW. After getting the son out, Warnock crawled inside to reach Mittman, and appears the driver likely hit the gas, causing it to topple, the FDNY said. It fell on Warnock, breaking bones in his leg. Which, this really sucks for the firefighter. Is wow, you go in there and basically, in the process of basically saving someone who probably doesn't even feel grateful, right? Or probably doesn't even feel any responsibility towards this whole thing, ends up crushing your legs by hitting the gas pedal. So the firefighter was treated at Bellevue Hospital and released a few days ago, and he's in good spirits and feeling very fortunate it wasn't worse, said FDNY spokesman Jim Long. I agree, it could have been so much worse. He literally could have died from this whole situation. So this is the doctor. The NYPD refused to release the BMW driver's name, saying he was not arrested or issued a summons at this time. The Post learned his name and obtained a copy of the initial police report. And the thing is, right, if you end up landing on top of a car at basically a stoplight, you should probably be arrested at that point because you're probably under the influence of something or completely distracted because that is negligence to a whole nother level, right? If there's literally no drugs in your system and yet you still did that, that's crazy. So Mittman, who lives in Manhattan, racked up 26 New York City parking and camera violations in less than 10 years. And a search of How's My Driving New York found the violations include speeding in a school zone 8 times since 2016 in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and failure to stop at a red light on Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn on January 31st. Mittman's BMW was also ticketed in both boroughs for parking his car in bus lanes, no standing zones, and at a bus stop, and fines ranged from $35 to $115 per violation. And again, this is basically like a situation where like this guy believes that none of this matters to him. Like if you're speeding through like school zones, you literally do not care about other people because you could easily end up hitting a kid if you're not careful. Like he just literally does not care about anyone else on the road. Camera violations are issued to the registered owner of an offending vehicle and do not count as moving violations against a particular driver because the photos only capture the license plate, not the driver. Police are investigating the July 17th collision to determine Mittman's speed and braking, sources told the Post. Matthew Wan and his wife, Randy of Bayside, were heading out to dinner and stopped at a red light on West 42nd Street and 11th Avenue when Mittman's BMW rear-ended and mounted their 40,000 SUV, leaving both cars totaled. We thought something fell from a building, Juan told the Post, and when we looked up, we saw this vehicle sitting on top of our car. We were able to see the driver, and then we said, "Oh my god, we're okay." And we called 911. Like, imagine how scary that would be if you just like look up and see an SUV sitting on top of you. Like, that's just crazy. So witnesses quickly approached the couple. People came down from the buildings and told us, "We were watching it at the window and just want to tell you that it looked like Mittman was expecting the light to be green and traveling at such a high rate of speed, we saw his car fly through the air," Juan said. Juan added, when he realized that the light was red, he was, I guess, trying to use the brakes. It's not the kind of impact you'd expect when approaching a red light on a street at 25 miles per hour. To turn a car over like that was really quite amazing. And you gotta keep in mind too, like the speed limits in like the city like this are probably very low. So this doctor was probably speeding way past the speed limit and was probably expecting that the light was going to turn green by the time he got there and basically be able to maneuver and all that kind of stuff, but didn't, right? By the way, it's a person that just basically does not give a crap about anyone else on the road. At the scene, Mittman did not approach Juan and his wife because he has no spine. Juan said he went over to Mittman, who told him the BMW was brand new, just 250 miles on it, with a lane avoidance technology. Mittman blamed the mishap on a malfunction of the safety device. So, if you can't tell, this doctor is literally blaming the vehicle for this accident. No. This is because you don't give a crap about anyone else on the road. You make a lot of money and you think that you are above the law and above other people. And three, you don't even have the spine to take ownership of you making bad choices. Like, you landed on top of another car and could have crushed people to death. All because you make so much money and that you believe that you are above the law and that you are above other people. So, told about Mittman's traffic violations, Juan said his history might indicate that he's not a very good driver or a safe driver. And the thing is, with the amount of violations and citations that he got, how is he even able to drive anymore? Now, what's interesting, on Wednesday, a reporter approached Mittman, the doctor, and so while the doctor sat in the Audi SUV, after leaving his office at Kidney Care Brooklyn on Prospect Avenue, he declined to comment, rolled up his windows, and drove away. So, even after this horrible accident, where he landed on top of another vehicle, he's still able to drive another vehicle? Like, that is so beyond stupid that he is allowed to drive a vehicle still, even after having so many violations, having so many citations, and literally landing on a car not too long ago. You're still able to drive like nothing happened. Like, that's crazy. So let's see. So, some in the comments. The doctor's license should be taken away and she should not be allowed to drive for a few years. I agree. This doctor should have his driving license taken away, and I wouldn't have him as my doctor. I think he's a criminal. Hi. He was not arrested or issued a summons after already having a multitude of tickets, violations, and accidents. So he was drug tested, DUI tested, sobriety tested, or a breathalyzer was that given? Be blessed. Hmm. And people think doctors are the smartest people in the world. It's scary what they really don't know and what they do to people just to make more money than insurance will pay out. Greed. His medical career may be over now that people can see how recklessly he treats his fellow citizens. And that's actually probably a interesting perspective. Because if a patient, like a potential patient, were to see how carelessly he drives and how little he cares about other people on the road, maybe they'll think like, hey, maybe this doctor doesn't care about my well-being as well if I was his patient. Like, it's scary, right? For someone who's in the medical field to literally care so little about other people on the road is mind-boggling. Gee, I wonder what will happen to the doctor. Nothing seems about right. How does this doctor afford car insurance? Is he as careless in his medical practice as he is with his driving? What's up, doc? I guess he feel the rules don't apply to himself, but seriously, is that thing in the yellow shirt the doctor's son? My goodness. Rich privilege. This is the thing. I think this is somewhat to do with it where this guy, this doctor, probably has been making a lot of money to the point where, after a certain point, he probably starts to think that he is above other people to some extent, and he just views less of other people, which is sad, right? I mean, feel free to give your thoughts on this, but one thing's for sure, this is why you need good car insurance, good health insurance, and also good life insurance if someone is like relying on your income because my lord, like you never know what might happen. If you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money, go to 40inbox.com.